and go on the record, please. I'm Tommy Tucker, Commissioner on the North Carolina Utilities Commission. With me this morning are Chair William M. Brawley, Commissioners Floyd B. McKissick, Karen Kimwright, and Donald Vandervaart. On October 3rd, 2025, a group consisting of Carolina Power Partners, Duke Energy Carolinas, Duke Energy Progress, Virginia Electric and Power Company doing business as Dominion Energy North Carolina, DENC, Energy United Electric Membership Co-op, Energy United EMC, Fayetteville Public Works Commission, North Carolina Eastern Power Agency, North Carolina Municipal Power Agency number 1, North Carolina Electric Membership Co-op Corporation, and Tennessee Valley Authority, also known as joint movants, filed in joint motion in document number E100 sub 113 to modify and delay the swine waste set-aside requirement of the Clean Energy and Energy Efficiency Portfolio Standard, or SEPS, as codified in North Carolina General Statute Section 62-133.8 on October 8, 2025. The Commission issued an order requesting comments on the joint motion and received comments from Montauk Renewables and the public staff only. On November 12, 2025, the Commission issued an order that requested reply comments from the joint movants and other interested parties on specific arguments outlined in the reply comments to the joint motion and scheduled a technical conference for today, December 2nd, 2025 at 9:30. For the commissioners to receive oral presentations from parties to the docket and to ask questions of parties on the status of the swine's waste renewable energy certificate market and current and future availability of swine waste RECs for compliance with the swine waste set-aside requirement of the SEPS statute. I want to stress that while the Commission consolidated these two requests, reply comments on the joint motion and scheduling of the technical conference, the Commission will be very cautious to ensure that no material presented at the technical conference will be used as evidence in any future Commission order ruling on the original joint motion to modify and delay the swine set-aside requirement. On November 12th, order required interveners to file names of individuals who would appear at the technical conference and their presentation materials on or before November 24th, 2025. The order also requested that presentations address three general topics, which are: 1, identifying who the current and future producers of the in-state swine RECs are in North Carolina, the current availability of the in and out of the state swine RECs, and the availability of in and out of state swine RECs in the future. On November 20th, 2025, the joint movants filed a joint motion to delay the technical conference by at least 10 days following December 1st, 2025. One reason that the joint movants provided to delay the technical conference was that the topics outlined for the technical conference will likely require discussion of confidential information, which a couple of people have come up to me and asked me how we're going to deal with that, and if you'd let me know if there was confidential information before we get started or answer any questions along those lines, it would be appreciated here from the chair. While the Commission will go into confidential session if necessary, we ask that presenters attempt to answer Commission questions without going into confidential session. If confidential session is required, we request that the intervener representatives remain vigilant and quickly inform the Commission if confidential information is being requested and if confidential session is required. On November 25th, 2025, the Commission entered an order denying the motion to delay the technical conference and setting the schedule for the technical conference following the issuance of its November 25 order. It came to the attention of the Commission that an additional party, Monarch Bioenergy, intended to appear at the technical conference Monarchs Bioenergy submitted a presentation but mistakenly did not file it in the docket as instructed in the November 12 order. The commission entered an order yesterday allowing Monarchs Bioenergy's presentation and adjusting the schedule accordingly. Similarly, another entity, Goldfinch, desires to make a presentation today but did not file in the docket as instructed in the November 12 order. Goldfinch did make a filing regarding the motion to delay the technical conference. In neither case does it appear that the parties were attempting to circumvent the commission's instruction, but instead were unfamiliar with the commission's filing procedures. In the interest of hearing presentations and gaining information from a variety of interested parties, both Monarchs Bioenergy and Goldfinch will be allowed to make presentations today, subject to the same constraints as all the other presenters. The intervening parties participating in today's technical conference are and will appear in the order listed as follows. And I will call that out now. Energy United EMC, Duke Energy, representing both DEC and DEP, Fayetteville Public Works Commission, Goldfinch, Montauk Renewables, Monarch Bioenergy, NCEMP and NCMPA1 and NCEMC. The commission will observe a 10-minute break at approximately 10:35 a.m. following a presentation by Duke Energy. On December 1st, 2025, the commission issued a procedural order specifying the amount of time that each party participating entity or group or entities participating as a consolidated group shall be afforded to make their presentations, which will be 20 minutes inclusive of all questions. The commission will adhere strictly to the time limits outlined in the commission orders. Therefore, the commission asks that each participating intervener pay close attention to the time allotted and not exceed that time limit. I will also be monitoring the time and will let any participating intervener know if their time has expired. With that, we will begin with Energy United EMC. And then thank you for any presentation moving forward. And we'll hear now from Energy United EMC, Alec Nat. Is that correct, sir?
That's correct.
All right. Can you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Alec Nat.
Okay. And you represent?
Energy United Electric Membership Corporation.
Very well, sir. Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Alec Nat, and I'm the Chief Financial Officer of Energy United Electric Membership Corporation. In addition to my responsibilities in finance, I am also responsible for coordinating the cooperative's wholesale power supply, as well as compliance with the North Carolina Clean Energy and Energy Efficiency Portfolio Standard. Energy United is a member-owned electric cooperative serving over 140,000 meters in 19 counties in central North Carolina. Our mission is to provide safe, reliable, and affordable energy to our members. Any costs that are derived as a result of Senate Bill number 3 are passed on directly to our members. We do not mark up this cost. With that said, our goal is to meet compliance, but to do it in the most cost-effective way. While I do not have a formal presentation for you today, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. And I do have some confidential information that if you request, I'll be happy to share with you.
Okay. Very well, sir. Okay. I just got one question. You talk about cost effective. Define that for us, please.
Cost effective, it means the ability to minimize the total overall costs of Senate Bill 3. In other words, the less we incur, the less our members have to pay.
Okay. Concerning the statute in 24-57, I guess the swine incentive plan, how does that impact your company and what have you done about adhering to that?
So we are offering up the opportunity to create a new RFP to identify additional producers for the swine set aside to try to identify additional producers in order to minimize cost to our members.
Okay, you mentioned new RFP. Has there been a previous RFP?
There was a previous RFP. Actually, there were two previous RFPs. There was an RFP done between 2010 and 2012, and 5 contracts were executed by Energy United along with some of the other utilities in North Carolina. Of those 5, only one of them came to fruition and has been executed, of which we're receiving a modest number of recs.
Okay, and
And then there's the other.
second one is?
The second one is one that has been in the works for several years.
Presiding Commissioner Tucker, if I hate to interrupt.
Excuse me?
If I could just
Hold on a
interject.
minute, I got a thought for him and I'll come back to you.
Yes.
So the RFP's been going on for years. What does that mean?
The RFP was going on. We were in the process of, we identified one particular party that we were working with. We had some contractual challenges with that party in terms of some of the terms. We agreed upon a price at one time, and then Senate bill, the new Senate bill came into 382, became active, and then at that point in time, we put it on hold, essentially trying to identify that if there's a change in law, does it present an opportunity for us to identify other producers that may be able to help us at a lower and more cost-effective manner.
Okay, how far along are you with that RFP? I mean, are we going to have a perpetual RFP or is it going to have some time constraint?
The new RFP?
Yes, sir.
Don't know, but I do know since 382 came out, 3 new parties have approached Energy United about providing supply for swine recs. And prior to that, very few people even responded to the earlier RFP.
I get that it's difficult to find swine waste or poultry producers that have the ability to be able to utilize their waste, but what I see from where I sit and what I've been briefed on with staff, some of these RFPs go on 3, 4, 5 years, and then eventually I'll look at that and go, is that a delay tactic or what is it? Can you give me a timeline and an end date on the RFP?
I cannot at this point in time.
Wow.
You're
You're the finance officer and you cannot define when the RFP, or is this just not,
I would like to.
wait a minute, let me finish.
Sorry.
Or is this just not high on your pecking order to get done?
It is high on our pecking order, but the new RFP will take some time to identify the producers and to move forward with them. The other issue with the earlier RFP, I'd like to go into confidential session to discuss that.
Well,
If you care to.
Commissioner Tucker, if I may, the proposed RFP is currently before the commission, and the commission has the opportunity to provide input on the dates.
the one he's talking about now.
There is a new RFP that has been proposed and is before the commission.
Before Energy United, by
the-
Energy United.
Energy United is one of the parties to it, yes.
Okay, were you aware of that?
Sorry.
Go ahead, sir.
And that's the point. Marcus Trathon, pardon me? Yes, Marcus Trathon, Montauk Renewables. This is where I was going to interject that the buyers group has made a filing in this same docket asking for the issuance of an approval of a new RFP. I was just wanting to alert the commission that that is a matter of controversy that will have to be resolved. Montauk has submitted a letter notifying the commission of its opposition to that filing, and it'll be making a filing later this week. So I just want to just alert you that there is a dispute about that particular filing.
Okay, Mr. Leffler, would you identify yourself and restate what you said?
I'm sorry, Peter Ledford of the law firm Ward & Smith on behalf of Energy United EMC. Commissioner Tucker, I was just pointing out that there is a proposed new RFP that has been filed, the same one that Mr. Trathon is referring to.
And Energy United is a party to that new RFP.
Yes, it was proposed by a number of power providers that are seeking swine recs.
Ms. Nat, did you know that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I thought you said, okay. All right. Oh, I have no further questions from Mr. Nat. How about commission questions? Anybody? Okay. All right, Mr. Nat, you can step down. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next will be, Duke Energy. Ms. Preston. They tell me you've been taking care of Rex and SEPs and whatever you want to call it since 2007.
That's correct.
Okay. You may proceed with your presentation.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you today. I am Kimberly Presson. I am the Renewables Compliance Manager for both Duke Energy Progress and Duke Energy Carolinas. I am responsible for ensuring the companies meet the standards of the North Carolina Clean Energy Portfolio Standard, and I take these responsibilities seriously and make every effort to comply under the standard. This past fall, I celebrated my 35th year with Duke Energy, and I've been involved with SEPs in one capacity or another since its inception. I am one of the lead witnesses for both the DEC and DEP in the annual cost recovery rider filings for SEPs. I prepare the SEPs compliance plans as well as the semi-annual swine and poultry progress reports. I also manage the company's contracts for swine and poultry-derived biogas, where that gas is combusted at Duke's combined cycle plants and creates RECs used in satisfying the company's SEPs compliance obligations. The incremental cost of those gas purchases is recovered through the SEPs rider. Additionally, I work closely with another colleague who manages the company's animal waste purchase power and REC agreements, and I'm here today to address your overall concerns related to Duke's ability to comply with the swine waste set-aside. For many years, the company's achieved compliance with the SEPs swine requirement only after it was modified by the Commission. The company's had insufficient inventory for a range of reasons. Facilities took much longer than anticipated to come online, and many experienced difficulties attaining full production per their contracts. From 2011 until 2023, for DEC and DEP together, we've signed 31 contracts for swine RECs. Most have been with suppliers in North Carolina, although some have been with out-of-state suppliers. Some of the out-of-state RECs were purchased on the spot market, and some have been longer-term REC purchases. Some contracts included electricity, and some were for swine-derived renewable biogas, for which DEC and DEP combust at our combined cycle stations to produce swine RECs. Only 10 of those 31 contracts have survived into 2025. While some contracts were fulfilled and reached their natural expirations, 18 contracts were terminated for reasons ranging from a natural disaster that destroyed numerous barns, tore off lagoon covers, and flooded remaining lagoons, to electric co-ops who rejected interconnections, to the developer's inability to secure sufficient quantities of feedstock, to polymer issues with swine manure supply, viruses and other health issues affecting swine herds and the quantity of fuel available, to the failure to break ground for many years after signing a contract, to bankruptcy and other financial concerns, and most recently the loss of a DEQ permit after digester cover was torn, leading to UCC auction of equipment and property. However, Duke Energy is excited, and we are encouraged by the customer savings associated with the swine stimulus statute, which provides additional compliance instruments called Enhanced Credit RECs, or ECRs. These are eligible for use towards the swine waste set-aside. Under specific scenario, for the first 8 years when one swine REC is created, 2 ECRs are created. For the subsequent 6 years, for every one swine REC created, 1 ECR is created. Both DEC and DEP are eligible to earn ECR adders at our combined cycle stations we operate in Tier 1 counties, where we combust in-state swine-derived biogas. We submitted amendments to our existing NREFs for those sites on November 3rd, and the public staff is currently reviewing those submissions. I am also encouraged by the company's swine REC position moving into 2026. We currently have existing contracts in place for facilities that are online and operating, and we are awaiting another which is expected to come online in early 2026. It will provide a substantial number of RECs. Additionally, as I've mentioned, the companies have already contracted with various suppliers of in-state swine-derived biogas to combust at our qualifying combined cycle stations in order to earn ECRs on behalf of our customers at no additional cost. The addition of the swine stimulus statute ECRs to our portfolio provides much-needed inventory to our position and precludes the need to sign additional long-term contracts for swine recs. This allows us to harness significant savings for our customers. Regarding the 2025 off-ramp petition, in November last year, the Commission set the 2025 swine waste requirement for the utilities at 0.14%. While Duke Energy Progress would be able to comply with the swine waste set aside at that level, Duke Energy Carolinas cannot. Unfortunately, production by DEC suppliers during 2025 was lower than expected, even with the addition of swine ECRs, and no in-state swine recs are being offered on the spot market at this time. For this reason, as noted in the joint movants, motion to modify and delay, the combined utilities, Duke Energy Carolinas, Duke Energy Progress, and Dominion Energy North Carolina, have requested the compliance requirement be lowered to 0.7% for 2025. Thank you for your kind attention. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you for that. Ms. Preston, do you see, I think you used the word excited about the opportunities that are coming online, having been through ups and downs, bankruptcies, virus, whatever reason in the world they could not supply swine waste recs for Duke.
Correct.
You see the opportunity, is there supply and is there a market out there now?
We have spoken with several suppliers since the passage of the enhanced credit rec stimulus. Knowing that our combined cycle stations will be able to optimize those options, we do not foresee a need to sign additional contracts at this time, not long-term contracts. There are no swine recs in-state available on the spot market at this time, which is the current trading market. But since we'll be able to optimize ECRs, we're excited about that.
Without any confidential information, you have contracts now to meet the 2026 standard?
Providing our contracts provide the fuel they're expected to provide, yes.
Okay, so you have contracts in place.
Yeah, for 2026.
And you say it's promising for anyone to buy swine recs or receive swine recs credits in this coming year because of what reason?
For Duke, we are in the position to create recs and ECRs at our combined cycle stations. I cannot speak to what else may be out there. Again, we've spoken with 3 suppliers. I referred them to other compliance managers with co-ops and EMCs. And from my understanding, several of them have reached out and made contact.
Does Duke have a contract with anyone who injects biogas into the natural gas pipeline?
Yes,
You do.
yes.
So
We will use that swine-derived biogas to create recs and ECRs at our combined cycle stations.
Okay, all right. That's all the questions I have, gentlemen. Yes, sir. Commissioner McKissick.
Yeah, I just wanted to get one point of clarification as it relates to the information you provided.
Okay.
I believe you said DEP can comply, but DEC cannot comply.
Correct.
Is that
That is
correct?
correct.
And how short is DEC from meeting its required?
Can I give you an approximate number? since
Yeah,
it is
approximate would be fine, yes,
less than 10,000.
less than 10,000. That's all I needed to know. I just want to get that clarification. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
The information is provided in our semi-annual report we filed a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Again, those are projections. So keep in mind, we're putting that information together for the June report in late April, early May. So we have very little to go on. So our June report looks very different than our December report. For December report, we only have activity through October. November activity is still ongoing. So we are just guessing what we're going to have.
Okay.
It could be higher or lower.
One quick follow-up. Do you
Yes, sir.
anticipate being able to meet that shortfall? Or you feel that that's where it's going to land?
That estimate is through the end of December, again, with 9 months of actuals and 3 months of projections.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions? Yes, Commissioner Kimwright.
Just a couple of follow-up questions, and thank you for your presentation. Can you just my questions, I don't want to go into confidential information. But can you explain the difference between being able to achieve compliance in DEP versus DEC? What is the difference between the two companies? And
That's a really great question, Commissioner Kamara. We have one contract that provides gas, in-state swine gas, that delivers both to DEC and DEP. There were a couple of unfortunate instances. In one case, when we were delivering gas to just DEC in the summertime, that particular supplier was down with some technical issues at their station. In the spring and fall, the combined cycle in DEC's territory that can produce DCRs was down for maintenance. So we just had a problem with technical issues at the supplier and at our plants in those particular cases.
okay, thank you for that explanation. And then again, I don't want to go into confidential information, but I'm interested in the reliance upon both out-of-state RECs versus in-state RECs. And can you, for both companies, help us understand how much compliance is achieved through out-of-state RECs and what the market, and is there a market for out-of-state swine RECs?
We do have contracts for out-of-state swine RECs. Those are REC-only purchases that are being delivered to DEC and DEP. And we attempt to maximize the 25% allowance of out-of-state RECs.
And I'm trying to have an understanding about the availability of the out-of-state RECs. Is it a robust market for out-of-state RECs, or is it limited?
We have had some people come to us since in the last year. But since we are maxed out at 25%, we have not pursued those conversations.
Okay, thank you.
I have provided other contact names for those folks though.
Okay. Any other questions, Commissioner? Go ahead, Commissioner Vandermark.
I guess just because you're clearly well-versed in this area and you've gone through a lot, seen a lot, I guess, I mean, could you give us a couple of sentences of how this program could be more successful? I mean, could you just increase the RECs provided? I mean, not you, but statutorily, or what would work?
For swine specifically?
Yes, yeah.
Our swine developers have a tremendous task ahead of them. It is not easy to create electricity from that very wet product. Anaerobic digestion is by far in my opinion, but by far the easiest mechanism. And then you've got to find someone who can inject that gas into a pipeline or put a genset on their property to create electricity directly to.
I understand. I guess my point is that, are you just saying that's just fundamentally, I mean, it can be done. It can be done. We put a man on the moon. We can do this. You're just saying that it's it's not worth it for some people to do it. I mean,
I'm saying it's expensive and
right.
not.
But what you're saying is, yeah, it's expensive. It's difficult. But we still have plenty of hog farms out there. And so my question is what would motivate more production, more conversion of the waste to the gas and possibly electricity?
I think that's probably a question for some of the developers.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, just one follow-up question.
Sure.
The shortfall that you're talking about, 10,000, if swine waste REC availability comes online in 2026, you can readily sign a contract if it's feasible, affordable, and reliable?
Let me repeat what you've said in a different way and make sure I understand your question.
Okay,
For 2025's compliance, the RECs must have been created in 2025 and will not help us for 2026 if the RECs were created in 2026. So for 2025, we're stuck with what we have, but for 2026, we have great hope that we'll be able to meet the 2026 requirement.
okay, all right. We're talking about 1 year versus the next, so it'd be gone. Okay, all right, thank you. Any other questions for Ms. Preston? Hearing none, you're free to step down. Thank you so much for your presentation and working with this since 2007. hopefully it'll be more beneficial moving forward. And next we have Keith Lynch with Fayetteville Public Works. Morning, Mr. Lynch. If you state your name and your firm.
My name is Keith Lynch. I work for Fayetteville PwC.
All right, go ahead, sir, with your presentation.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to discuss North Carolina's swine waste market. I am Keith Lynch, Power Contracts and Regulatory Manager for the Fayetteville Public Works Commission in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Fayetteville PwC has been a participant of a North Carolina Swine Waste Joint Buyers Group since its first iteration, which officially formed in 2010. The consortium, consisting of Progress Energy Carolinas, Duke Energy Carolinas, Dominion North Carolina Power, Energy United, Halifax EMC, North Carolina Electric Membership Corporation, North Carolina Eastern Municipal Power Agency, North Carolina Municipal Power Agency No. 1, and Fayetteville PwC executed our first swine waste rec agreement later that same year in 2010. FPWC was 1.6% of the total joint buyers requirements. Between 2010 and 2017, Fayetteville PwC continued executing swine waste rec agreements until contractual quantities of swine waste recs allowed FPWC the expectation to achieve compliance. All of these contracts failed to produce and deliver sufficient quantities of recs. Fayetteville PwC's most productive swine waste rec agreement was an out-of-state agreement which our counterparty terminated in order to sell their swine waste biogas into more lucrative markets. In 2020, Fayetteville PwC was a participant in the Joint Buyers Group 2020 RFP. Fayetteville's allocated percentage was the smallest of any of the buyers in that RFP. Concurrently, FPWC also designed our own small generation facility fueled in part by swine waste biogas. This facility would have allowed FPWC to achieve full compliance with the swine waste set-aside requirements. In January 2022, Fayetteville PwC issued our own request for bids for swine waste biogas. After receiving 0 responses, FPWC issued another RFP in August 2022. Excuse me. The RFP also received 0 responses. FPWC terminated our plans to reach compliance through self-generation of swine waste recs. Due to a lack of swine waste recs, Fayetteville PwC will not be able to comply with the swine waste set-aside requirement for 2025. However, Fayetteville is optimistic about the future of North Carolina's swine waste market, due in part to Senate Bill 382. FPWC intends to participate in a Joint Buyers Group 2025 RFP for swine waste resources that was filed with the Commission on November 19th. FPWC looks forward to receiving responses to the RFP and hopes to be able to move forward with the acquisition of biogas or swine waste recs. Because our other participants in the Joint Buyers Group have larger allocations than we do and have been more engaged in developing that 2025 RFP, I will defer to their discussion and answers about this new RFP. This concludes my prepared remarks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lynch. Let me see if I can couch this in a way we can understand it without. I received a call on my personal cell phone from a farmer in Duplin County who said that he was in contractual discussions with Fayetteville Public Works, that he had a pad poured and that he was ready to put in the hog barns and then provide you with swine gas. Do you recall that, or is there anything remotely close to that in your wheelhouse?
I'm not sure which
Okay.
entity you're referring to.
Yeah, a gentleman was from Duplin County. Of course, it's easy to throw a utility's name around that you're gonna do business with, and it doesn't come to fruition like a lot of contracts that are there. In this buyers group for 2026, is that what I understood?
It was drafted in 2025. Yes, it's waiting for commission approval.
So the RFP's out now, right?
I think it's waiting, if I understand correctly, it's waiting for commissioner's approval, for y'all's approval.
Okay, all right. Okay, So how much swine waste, Rex, how many do you need?
We need about 4,500 recs.
4,500.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and there are marketers within 100 miles of Fayetteville, certainly, eastern part of the state where most of the swine waste is. I would think in the state, have you had any further discussions with them, or are you leaving it up to the RFP to kind of dice out who the folks that can supply them for you?
We have been in discussions with several entities. We issued our own RFP twice, as a matter of fact, and did not get any responses. So we're hopeful that we'll get more responses with the joint buyers RFP.
Okay, who is joined you in the RFP? No, you don't have to name all of them, just to give us a flavor of them.
The NCMC, the Income One, Agency One, Eastern, both electric cities entities are in it, Energy United. I think I'm missing a couple. Those are the big players.
That's fine. Everybody's trying to adhere to 382. Is that what the push is?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, very well. I don't have any further questions. Any questions for Mr. Lynch? None. Yes, Commissioner Kimmerly.
Just thank you. Also, thank you for your presentation. And as I mentioned before, I don't want to elicit any confidential information. So if my question is requesting that, let me know. We won't go there. But you mentioned about the contract that was entered into and I think you said the 2010 through 2017 timeframe.
There are several of them, yes.
Several of them. And you mentioned that one of the contracts was terminated. And your REX requirement is 4,500 REX. What was the amount of REX that you would have been obtained from that contract that was terminated, if you recall?
Are you referring to the out of state?
Correct. Yes.
I believe it was around 1,000 recs. This was some time ago, but it would have allowed us, if the contract would have given us everything that the contract promised, it would have given us our full 25% of our allocation for out-of-state recs.
In that contract, I made notes about what you said, that the out-of-state contract was terminated because they ended up contracting in more, as you put it, more lucrative markets. Can you provide a little bit more information about, if you can, about what those markets are, where they are, and why they're more lucrative than market in North Carolina?
This counterparty told us that they could get more money if they sent their biogas to California.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay. Any further questions? Thank you, Mr. Lynch, for your presentation. You're available to step down, sir. And we will not take a break because we're running ahead of schedule. The swine waste is flowing well. We'll have Ms. Dorr with Goldfinch come up. I'm sorry, what'd she say? Yeah, you were, yes, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Yeah, you were welcome to do that since you flew all the way in from Colorado.
Thank you. Who do I provide the presentation to on?
Mhm. Okay. My good friend, Commissioner Kimmerly, always comes up with solutions. Let you wait until after the break and you get organized as to what you're going to do and present to us, and we'll move to the next presenter. And then after the break, you can present to us about the equipment or whatever your firm does in Colorado in dealing with swine waste. Is that okay for you?
Yeah, so should I, because it's like a PowerPoint?
Yeah. You can talk with John. Yes, you're welcome to. If we see if we can make it work, okay? All right, thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to the next presenter while she gets that done. Montauk Renewables.
Good morning.
Morning. If you would state your name and the firm you're with, please, sir.
Sure. My name is Sean McLean. I'm President and CEO of Montauk Renewables.
Okay.
Montauk is a leader in the collection and beneficial use processing of multiple sources of biogas. Currently in our fourth decade of operations, Montauk is one of the only remaining fully integrated businesses in this space. Its approach is to offer beneficial necessary services to large and growing host businesses, and using its technologies and methodologies for the collection and the beneficial use processing of those biogas fuel sources to make those service offerings economically viable. All of our projects across our portfolio nationwide are designed to attenuate to the needs of those host businesses for multiple decades to come. On behalf of the entire company, I do appreciate the time this morning to present to you one of the most exciting and thoughtful projects that we've engaged in to date. The presentation that you'll see this morning has a number of pictures in it. These pictures are our current operations here in North Carolina, operations that stem from on-site farm collection and drying of the waste, the responsible transportation of that waste to our Turkey, North Carolina processing facility, the pelletization of that fuel supply for storage and for usage, the generation of combustible gases for use in on-site power generation, and for the creation of a biochar product. At March 2026, we expect the full commissioning of the first phase of this project with an estimated investment of up to $220 million. And integration, setting the platform for future phases of development, which includes gas production and transportation, biochar, rail transportation of pelletized fuel supply, and hopefully the assembly of our patented reactor processes here in North Carolina that can be used for future development, used by other producers, other developers, and to even enhance existing projects where traditional digestion has consequences of removal of non-caloric waste byproducts. The statistics that you'll see, if we can change the slides, is this what I used for this? Perhaps. How do we push it? Oh, there we go. Great. The statistics that you see here, the results of a consultation, our consultation with Dr. Walden, who advises the North Carolina Department of Commerce. We're truly proud to showcase the economic benefits this project has for our communities, for in and around our service region. Next slide, please. At the heart of our project in North Carolina is our patented reactor system. It accomplishes the goals of traditional digestion. It reduces the time from 28 days to just under 15 minutes. It has zero residual waste product to clean out and dispose of, which is prevalent in traditional digestion projects. It's 95% efficient in the conversion of energy value from the feedstock. It's carbon negative and it is scalable. Next slide, please. A key to this project's success is our seamless integration with the farms. It utilizes their existing slatted floor designs of their barns and their existing barn flush processes that allow for us to intercept the waste before it ever reaches the lagoon. Our completely mobile pickup truck trailer systems, they're designed to extract, to press, and to dry the waste solids farm side for responsible transportation to our Turkey, North Carolina location. It reduces risk of odors and risk of spillage. Next slide, please. The picture you see here, our farm site installation is limited to preformed concrete receiving pits. It intercepts the waste for full extraction and processing before it ever reaches the lagoon. The mobile trailer systems that we build and deploy, they are self-powered, and it also eliminates the need for any utility drops to the farm to support our operations. Next slide, please. This photo is an example of one of the screw press devices that is a component of our mobile trailer system. At commissioning in our first phase in March 2026, we will deploy approximately 20 of these fully mobile units to service the waste removal needs of over 300,000 hog spaces. Next slide, please. These photos of our current operations at farms in both Sampson and Duplin counties. Our farm processing eliminates these risks of odors and spillage during the transportation of the dried waste to our processing center at Turkey, North Carolina. Next slide, please. One more. A key component to the efficient integration into the farming community is the ability for us to coordinate our collections in a manner that meets the needs of each individual farm. Our additive-free pelletization process allows for us to store and transport the collected feedstock with minimal moisture, no odor, and no loss of potential energy. Next slide, please. One more. Thank you. Here is a photo of one of our currently operating patented reactors in Turkey, North Carolina. The first phase of this project will utilize 7 of these at our full commissioning in March 2026. Next slide, please. An extension of our patents also include the operating equipment that's pictured here, dedicated to gas filtration and drying. For this first phase, fully commissioning in March, this is a precursor to our on-site power generation. Next slide. The economic viability of this first phase of development is centered around the sale of both generated power and associated renewable energy credits. This photo is one of our existing installed and operating microturbines. The first phase at full commissioning in March will have 7 of these servicing our 7 reactors, generating approximately 6.6 megawatts power. Next slide, please. And this last photo is one of our biochar bagging stations currently in operation. At commissioning in March of 2026, we will be beneficially processing the collection of approximately 90 tons of waste per day, the end result of which is the combustible gases for power generation and biochar. 0 residual waste remains from our process to be otherwise disposed of, as it does with traditional digestion. The biochar is expected to serve as a source of soil remediation and a standalone component of crop fertilizer. It's currently being tested locally on an asparagus crop here in North Carolina. Last slide, please. And again, we offer our gratitude to allow us to participate in this technical conference. Montauk is here in North Carolina. It will be producing power, it will be producing RECs, and it will be producing biochar products starting in March of 2026. We have done everything that we said we would do in North Carolina and everything that has been asked of us to date. Our facility is nearing completion. It is scalable. This technology is able to be hopefully assembled in this region in future phases and will represent an opportunity for folks to improve their existing projects and to allow other developers to come in and produce RECs under the statute. Our project represents a critical step in all obligated parties achieving compliance with the Clean Energy and Energy Efficiency Portfolio Standard. Our ask to the Commission is to allow for the natural market of swine RECs that will come from best efforts compliance to make projects like Montauk an economically viable component of this regional farming industry and local economy. The Commission can achieve this by simply evaluating and granting waivers only at the end of compliance years and for those gaps that exist between RECs that are purchased or available for purchase and the amount of RECs that are required for annual statutory compliance. And that concludes my prepared remarks. I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Got some questions for you. First of all, this morning we've heard about the inability to be able to get swine RECs in North Carolina. And to have a supplier and a market that is available to all these companies that continue to ask for waivers every year because of their inability for contracts to come to fruition, bankruptcy, et cetera. You've heard the explanations Ms. Preston gave from Duke about those things. Um, Can you not, starting in March of 2026, fulfill some of those needs by utilizing pertinent contracts dated and for the last 3 quarters of the year? Can you project what you will have as far as recs go and availability for some folks to be able to take part in that?
Certainly. For an annual basis, starting in March 2026, the first phase of our project upon commissioning will be able to generate approximately 120,000 recs annually.
Okay. We heard some discussion about RFPs and the inability of people to submit bids on RFPs and all. Have you been through the RFP process?
We have.
Okay, and that was with whom?
Our RFP process was conducted with the Electric Buyers Cooperative.
Okay. And you lost that bid to someone else?
No, we were the winner of that RFP process.
You were the winner?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that RFP process went on for how long?
RFP process was concluded approximately 4 to 5 years ago. During that period of time, and again, I'm trying to be cautious in terms of offering any confidentiality.
Right.
But as normal RFP processes would take shape and form, you would mature from the award of the RFP to any specific nuances of contractual requests by the entity that ran the RFP process and work to finalize that agreement.
So let me get this straight.
Would you have a moment? I would like to clarify one point, but sorry for interrupting.
Okay. If the RFP process went on for 4 or 5 years, of course, the entities that were requesting the RFP would have to go back through the process because your pricing increased due to inflationary pressures. Is that the reasoning for it?
I think it is reasonable to offer the comment that the RFP that we participated in was awarded at an agreed upon price that has remained consistent from its award a number of years ago, with no change in inflationary costs for designer operations.
So you're willing to offer in March 2026 the pricing that was available, the same pricing that was available 5 years ago?
What we are willing to do in every project that we build is what we said we would do. We issued and submitted for an RFP. We won it, and with any RFP that we do in any project, we complete that through contracting at the terms that we submitted.
Okay. Is it confidential information on who you did the contract with or entered into the RFP with?
If I could interject, Presiding Commissioner Tucker.
Is that confidential?
No, this is the joint buyers group that has been referred to.
Oh, okay.
And whether or not there's a contract is the subject of the dispute. We've got this that I referenced is pending before you, the request for termination of the RFP that they won and issuance of a new RFP, whether there was an existing contract that was effectuated as a result of that process. That's sort of the subject of this additional filing that it's a matter of dispute.
Well, and you know, it's an ongoing docket, so we probably don't need to enter into any more discussion about that. Mr. Dodge, I'll let you go.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Tucker. Just Tim Dodge with North Carolina's Electric Cooperatives, here representing 23 of our members for which we provide reps compliance services, and 2 out-of-state co-ops are headquartered out of state that provide retail service here in North Carolina. Just wanted to clarify the 2020 RFP, the one conforming bid that was submitted was by NR3, and And filings made before the commission, we have indicated that recognizing Montauk acquired NR3 in 2021, but there was not a determined winner. There was one conforming bid. This process has unfolded before the commission in a motion for clarification in 2021 and 2022 that elaborate a little bit more on some of that as well. So, but just wanted to make that one point for the record.
Okay,
That's,
we don't want to go there, but what you're stating is the low bid didn't win. It is not considered a winner. It's another company that, I'm just trying to understand what you said, Mr. Dodge.
I'm indicating there was a statement made that Montauk was the winner. The one conforming bid of the three bids that were submitted was submitted by NR3. Just wanted to confirm that statement. As we've indicated in other filings, we have not said there was a winner to the RFP. There was not a contract from that RFP. There was a conforming bid under which negotiations continued to take place and have been the part of proceedings before the commission for clarification on those actions.
Well, I'm not a lawyer. I'm a normal person, so I don't want to ask anything that's confidential. I'm just trying. I don't understand. I haven't been in bids situations in my business over the years. If I had the lowest number, I was a winner. In this case, you're saying that's not so.
Again, I think as Mr. Trace has noted, that's part of what will
Okay.
continue to be discussed.
Let's don't go there.
Well,
Okay, let's
I
don't go
do
there.
feel
Okay,
we
I got
respond
it.
on that
I got
point, Commissioner Tucker, that it certainly is news to us that we were not the winner.
Well, let's don't go there, gentlemen. Really, I understand what you're trying to do and the point you're trying to get across. Let me get back to Montauk. You invested $220 million into Sampson County. You're going to create 911 jobs, going to be revenue to the state. How much state incentive money did you receive to build this facility?
None, Commissioner.
Okay. Well, first of all, that's unusual, having been a state legislator for a facility of that size. Let me clarify one thing with council here. Clarification, when I ask this question, I don't want anything confidential to come out. You know, I want to, just a clarifying question for you, Mr. McLean. Why would you spend $220 million with no real assurance of revenue? You get where I'm going. I hope I'm not putting you on the spot, but you spent $220 million. And for the record, I've been to your facility. I've seen your facility. I know how large it is. I am amazed at the amount of investment and what can be done there. But why would you build a facility and not have a pretty secure revenue stream prior to the going forward with this contract?
I think that's a great question. As is the case with all of our projects, they are built either with completed fixed price contracts or with RFP awards or with a state or a federal program that creates the natural market for the demand of an attribute. And in this particular case, the swine wreck. Having that natural demand and participating in both some already completed contracts as well as the RFP process that we engaged in gives sufficient certainty in most cases that you have the ability to make that investment. The investment has evolved over a period of time for a variety of reasons, but without speaking, again, confidentially, to attenuate the design of that facility to meet the delivery needs of folks that were in varying stages of negotiation, not only under existing contracts, but also under an RFP process.
Okay. Let me, some things I saw, I need clarification. You are taking the swine waste directly out of the hog barn, is that correct? And taking it to a digester?
Yes, the intention of the design of our process is to be as minimally invasive to the farmer and to avoid any consequences to the existing lagoons. So by intercepting that waste, we leverage the flush barn infrastructure that the farmers already have, and allowing for that to have a collection point in between the barn as it exits before it enters the lagoon, and then using a mobile collection process to sufficiently pump and dry that waste so that it can be safely transported without odor or without liquid spillage to and from our turkey facility.
So all you're putting back into the lagoon is dirty water?
All that's going back into the lagoon is water. There's always going to be just a nominal amount of dispersion of solids in the swine waste collection process. It is not 100%.
Having grown up on a farm, removing the sludge at the point you do, does that eliminate the smell? To a certain extent, does that damper that down as well? You know, we've had all kind of environmental lawsuits in North Carolina about hog smell. It won't eliminate it, but it'll reduce
It
it?
does substantially reduce it. The odors that are created as a byproduct of industrial agriculture, it is inclusive in the solids, it's inclusive in the ammonia complement of the liquid waste. But it does a great deal to substantially reduce the amount of odors and any risk to the increases of the levels of the lagoons.
Okay, we have a commissioner that was head of DENR, so, I mean, he can answer these questions or ask these questions if he chooses to, but if you're not dumping the waste back in the lagoon as a whole, you know, having cleaned out a hog lagoon, it's not a fun process and it can be expensive to a certain extent to the farmer. Does this eliminate the need through your process to clean out the lagoon?
It depends on the lagoon.
Okay.
It definitely eliminates the increase of the pressure that it places on the urgency to clean those lagoons, or the volume that is available or the capacity that is available in that lagoon. Our processes have historically and do include the ability to service lagoons that are already in need of removing that sludge or that waste.
Okay. I don't know if this is a correct number, and Commissioner Vandervaart, correct me, there seems to be a number, 50 is the number, and with the reduction of sludge in the lagoon, it drops it down within the medium of where the Department of Natural Resources wants the lagoon to be. Is that correct?
That is directionally correct, yes.
Okay. You know, I've heard that a majority of the lagoons in the state of North Carolina are full. So this eliminates that problem to a certain extent as well environmentally, to a certain extent.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. All right. And then the other thing I want to ask you, the micro turbines that are, I guess, on the back of your building
Yes.
that I saw, are they hooked up to a power company?
At commissioning in March of 2026, they will be. The power that we are generating right now at the facility is in operation today is being used for behind the meter operations until we're fully commissioned in March.
Okay. What power company will be tying into the micro turbines?
Interconnection is Duke. Power supply is to Fort County.
Okay, I'm getting a no.
I'm sorry, Fort County.
I'm sorry, who is
If
it?
I may,
Fort County. Sorry.
Hold on a
Fort
minute.
County.
Hold on a minute.
Fort County is the interconnection.
Okay, what are they? They're a co-op?
Fort County is a participant in the Buyers Group Electric Cooperative.
Okay.
Tucker, Fort County EMC is a member of North Carolina Electric Membership Corporation.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, my. So, all right. Okay, let me think here. So for instance, Mr. Lynch talked about the fact that they need 4,500 RECs next year. Are you saying that you could supply those if your contractual agreement was satisfactory?
Upon commissioning in March of 26, the RECs that we will generate from this facility would be sufficient to satisfy the compliance for the Buyers Group in 26.
Okay, and you said when it's in full build out, it's going to produce 120,000 swine RECs?
Yes.
Okay. Market wise, where is that for co-op to do, anybody in the buyers group? Will that suffice for them to be able to follow the law
It would be sufficient, yes.
for all of them?
Yes, as put out in the requests in the RFP process, those compliance requests were the compliance requirements under the statute.
So you're saying to this commission that March of 2026 moving forward, Montauk, along with other suppliers that are in the state, if they're, and there are not many according to Ms. Preston, that you'll be able to help these folks adhere to the law?
Yes.
Okay, so when you bring your unit online or your plant online, then you're stating to us that you will cure this problem of the inability to supply swine waste RECs to all these other facilities. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't have any further questions. Any questions by commissioners? Commissioner McKissick?
Yeah. How does the cost of your technology compare to the cost of other companies or entities that provide similar types of tasks? I mean, I know you say you're going to be operational fully by March of 26, satisfy the 120,000 annually, but how does the cost compare?
If I may ask a couple questions to clarify.
Yeah.
How is it compared to
let's
what?
say-
There's a lot of nuances to what we're doing.
Why don't you condition it appropriately? Because I may not have
Okay.
all the same background that you would have. So do
I
you could
think
compare costs?
the representative.
Commissioner, if I could also interject here, if your question is relating to rec pricing, that would clearly be a confidential question, and it gets into bidding issues.
Sure.
So for all that is, so I'm not quite sure which direction that you're heading, but if that's where we're going, that's probably something that we would need to treat as confidential information.
Sure. What can you state and clarify without getting into a confidential session and clearing the room of people that would help me know and understand that what you are providing is cost competitive, so that, you know, ultimately it would translate into the REC's pricing, but is there anything you can get into to?
Mr. McLean, and excuse me for interrupting Commissioner McKissick, that is also part of the docket. And I'm the great one to ask in generalities of where he's going because it's an excellent question. I'd like to know the answer to it, but because it's in the docket, we shouldn't go there.
I'm fine with that, Commissioner Tucker.
Great question, though.
Yeah, I guess it's something we'll get into at a later date. I mean, it's good to know that you can be operational, functional, you have the capacity, that everybody can meet their REC requirements. But it sounds like the level of detail and specificity that's best reserved for a more appropriate time.
Further questions, sir?
No,
Okay.
that's.
Commissioner Kimwright?
And thank you also for your presentation. Just one clarifying question. So you will have 120,000 RECs available at full build out in March of 2026. How many RECs, just for clarification of the record, how many RECs are you currently selling at this point before the build out in March?
We will not be selling any RECs until March of 2026. At that full commissioning point, that is when we will start to both generate. So,
Okay, so currently you're not under any
That's correct.
contract. Okay, thank you.
we have contracts. We have not triggered the commencement of those contract deliveries. We will do so in 2026.
Thank you.
Chair Brawley, any questions? Okay. Commissioner Van Bart?
So this, let me make sure I understand what you've got going on. You've got a truck, it's a mobile truck, a filter press system or something where you're driving around and you're either intercepting or vacuuming out existing sludge. You press it, leave the water and carry off what you call dried product. Is that roughly right?
Directionally correct, Commissioner. It is think of it as a Ford pickup truck with a very large mobile skid on the back of it that goes from farm to farm, has the utility to power, has pumping capabilities, has screw press technologies attached
Right.
to it. And it's not necessarily the sludge. It's actually intercepting. I mean, this could be synonymous. Taking the
Your
waste
de-
that's coming right out of the barn.
Yeah, you're
before it goes
dewatering.
where it
Let's
becomes,
just
that's
say.
correct.
So you're not actually vacuuming out existing sludge. Okay, and then you go back and you take those solids and you think you have some sort of electrically powered low pyrolysis type system where you essentially get in an anaerobic atmosphere and you're
Yes, sir.
producing high BTU gas. But going back, so you're only going, I mean, how does that work? Because so you're scheduling when they flush out the hog farms, not the lagoons, the slatted hog houses. That's when you want to be there. When they flush that out, that's when you want to intercept the product before it goes into the lagoons. Did I get that right?
Yes, sir. Our philosophy is the first stage and the majority stage of our processing is to stop the bleeding, to stop the issue before it continues to create the issues. But it is not 100% where we do follow through with clean out processes for lagoons that are necessary, but they will not be necessary due to the continued waste accumulation. That's what
Okay.
we're intercepting.
Right. So in other words, if everything worked really well, they still have as Commissioner Tucker pointed out, you still have the remaining water volume that you've dewatered the product and that goes back into the lagoon, but that's of course lower volume. You think maybe lower smell. You're taking some of the smell and leaving some of the smell maybe, but the point is that you're going to have this. And that's one cost advantage because in the past, the idea was have to manifold various farm lagoons to a central location where or the gas from the anaerobic digestion for the various lagoons to the electrical generator. You are coming around and with a single set of filter systems, you are carrying, or you're going around and making that process a lot more efficient. Then you go back to your plant, you do the pyrolysis, and you generate electricity there. So that's another cost savings because in the past these farms were having to purchase their own generating system, which is very expensive. You have one that is for all of the collections that your pickup truck has made.
That's correct.
Okay, so and so that makes a lot of sense why that's going to be a lot cheaper than for every medium to large size farm having to put together a manifolding system and having their own reciprocating engine that busts, every so often. And so the one question I've got to you, see, you are generating the RECs yourself when you generate that electricity and put it on the grid. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Sounds great to me. Why you haven't started? What's you're having trouble, I guess, I mean, I've seen all kinds of, but it sounds fantastic. Anything we can do to make it go forward faster?
I think
Okay,
anything
that's-
beyond that would be
I can't come up
yeah,
with anything. I think
a
that's a
smaller
good answer.
subject conversation.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? We're going to take a 15-minute break. We'll come back in session at 11 o'clock. It's not on the list here. Goldfinch, Colorado, straight in from Colorado. Go ahead. State your name and your company record, please.
For sure. So my name's Catherine Dorr. I go by Kat. Hi, everyone. My name's Catherine Dorr. I go by Kat. I'm the CEO and founder of a waste to value development, trading, and consultancy called Goldfinch.
Okay.
And my firm is here today to present on our interest in providing and selling swine recs into the North Carolina compliance market and some challenges that we've faced in being able to do so, and really maybe just shed some light onto the industry as we see it and show a bit, I think, sympathy towards a lot of the electric compliance entities and why this has been so challenging to date. So.
Okay,
So,
go
yeah.
ahead.
Next slide, please. So just a little background on who we are. We are a, as I said, developer, trading house, consultancy, and waste to value. We have worked on animal waste projects before. Goldfinch is currently a seller of around 30 to 40,000 renewable energy credits into the state of North Carolina in terms of poultry waste compliance. So we are not familiar with this industry, but we are definitely not experts in it either. Most of our work to date is in the material recovery facility industry, which we don't need to go into. But we do currently have an asset in Georgia that we would love to utilize to help electric cooperatives, entities comply with swine waste. And we're here to talk about that facility and how I think we can capitalize upon it. Our facility in Georgia is an anaerobic digester. We are a technology neutral company. Unlike Montauk, we do not have any patented technology. We buy off the shelf what we think is best for the application that we're going for. So we do high solids digestion, and that facility is currently set to convert organic waste into renewable natural gas, and we would like to supplement with up to 50,000 tons per year of swine-derived waste. So the focus of this presentation is on how we're going to go about acquiring and processing swine waste at that facility in Georgia, which is able to actually generate in-state recs by nomination within the state, but can also generate out of state as well. And it's majority owned by myself, a woman. Next slide, please, sir. So we'll skip this. This is my team, but in case you're wondering who is running the company. Next one. So yes, as I said, our first facility is in Georgia. It is in conjunction with a landfill there. That is a very important aspect of this asset because the path to development has been easier than you would see in third-party locations. Reasons why: we already have a major source air permit, Title V, so processing organics, swine waste into energy, very easy. We have free disposal of all of the product that comes out of the digester. That allows us to lower our cost of production quite substantially. And smell-wise, you'll never make it worse. So we don't have to be worried about that. So I know you mentioned that as a pain point for the state previously. The nice thing about this, so we currently have around 40,000 tons per year of organic sourced from the county, and we would like to source another 50,000 tons of swine waste. We do have some lines of sight on some small volumes to help us meet our generation, but we're really looking to the commission here to help us, drive that consumption of waste. Next slide, please. So one thing that I just wanted to shed some light on is it seems that a lot of people in this industry right now are really focused on pig poop. Pig poop is a fine energy source. It's not great. We're not going to pretend that it's, the easiest thing in the world to work with. It does need a lot of time put into producing pellets like we've seen Montauk do to generate energy. One place that Goldfinch focuses rather than swine poop, although we wouldn't turn our heads to swine poop, is rather slaughterhouse wastes, products that come from the rendering process, things like DAF sludge. You can see on the bottom there on the energy content, DAF sludge, when compared directly total solids wise, is about 2.8 times the energy content of swine poop, and you have a lot of it in this state. And so we would like to focus our efforts there on converting that. It is just as harmful to the environment as pig poop is. So yes, we think the path to generating more RECs lies more in slaughterhouse waste, not necessarily animal biosolids. But again, we will look at both. Both of those products can go into our facilities. So next slide. So what we wanted to sort of bring to the commission today was the importance that we see in cross-agency teamwork to help the electricity providers behind me meet their compliance obligations. It's absolutely wonderful that this commission has focused on converting animal waste, which is a very large environmental pollutant, into energy and obligating your electricity providers to do so. However, it's very hard to take a product that is otherwise not regulated by your agency and then require the electricity users to use that to produce energy. And so what I'm imploring the commission to do is to potentially sit down at the state level or the Department of Agriculture, Department of Consumer Goods to say, hey, the land application of these products, the landfilling of these products is not the best use for these products. And our electric entities now have a requirement to consume that. And unless there is a change in that status quo, I think it's going to be very hard to produce in a competitive market atmosphere the amount of RECs that the electric utilities behind me are looking to consume in a cost competitive atmosphere. Just not to say woe is me, but my company has spent 2 years calling every slaughterhouse, every food packaging company. We do not get called back. It is incredibly hard. And we're not asking companies to pay us to take their waste. We're not looking to take it for free. We offer money for the product that we are trying to pick up. Nobody responds. So it's hard to generate electricity when you can't really get anyone's attention with the medium that you're supposed to be generating the electricity from. So whether or not the NCUC can do that on their own, I'm not sure. I by no means understand North Carolina politics very well. You know, I don't even live in this state, but I have in the past. But I can assure you it's going to be hard to really get a competitive marketplace at a cheap price for these utilities to comply if everyone can just continue to incinerate, landfill, and land apply products that are better served as an energy source. Next slide, please. So I won't go into this because I know I'm supposed to keep to 20 minutes, but I'm happy to send around this presentation. But as I'm sure everyone here knows, slaughterhouse waste, biosolids from swine are not the best thing for the environment. And by preventing their use on land or in landfill, you will see massive reduction in environmental pollutants in the state of North Carolina. Right now, only around 54% of the pig is used for meat. The remainder of it does go to alternative use like rendering plants. A lot of this pig is used in that process, but there is still a lot of waste. You have 30 slaughterhouses in this state that I can find, 12 of which focus heavily on swine. And you have 8 million hogs in this state every year. There is clearly enough product. 50,000 tons per year sounds like a lot of material. The state of North Carolina should be able to supply that. So if you were to supply us with 50,000 tons per year of waste, that's akin to removing 26,000 cars off your roads in terms of air pollution. And there's a lot more that goes into just nitrogen, phosphorus, PFAS from the land application. Next slide, please. Again, you've done a lot. This is amazing that this is the only state that I know of that has a carve out for animal waste projects. I think that's phenomenal. But there are a lot of states also who have policies that prevent the land application of slaughterhouse waste and biosolids. And I think that North Carolina could benefit from some of those policies. It's not that you don't have any policies on land application. You definitely do. 100 feet within drinking water, not allowed. But as you can see, Today, Maine, Connecticut, Michigan, Alabama, Virginia, New York, Oklahoma, all have policy that is much stricter in terms of land application, which gets that product to be used for in more beneficial ways. And so, yeah, so that's our goal here, as Goldfinch, was to present and just sort of explain some of the struggles that I think the larger energy producers are seeing in trying to help the people behind me meet their obligations. And so, yeah.
All right, thank you. Got a couple of questions for you. So primarily you focus on slaughterhouse waste, is that correct?
We have called all farms all slaughterhouses. Our goal is slaughterhouse waste because it does produce 2.8 times the energy of pig poop when dewatered to the same amount. So it is a better medium for energy production, and you have a lot of it. Pig poop, you also probably want to be located adjacent to an actual generator. Slaughterhouse waste, because of its energy potency, we can move farther. We're about 8 hours from here where our asset is out of state. So yes, that's what we've been focused on and what we would ultimately like to consume.
So you would come to the slaughterhouse, pick it up and transport it to Georgia?
Correct.
Okay. So you said that we have like 50,000 tons of slaughter generated product that you could utilize in the state if everybody was to get on board. Is that what I heard?
No, so we could process in our facility, we have excess capacity for up to 50,000
Okay.
tons per year. I actually have no idea how much DAF sludge and other slaughterhouse waste is produced. It is not a reported number by the Department of Environmental Quality or the Environmental Protection Agency. Even if it was reported, usually those numbers are very stale. They usually go on 5 to 6 year reporting cycles. So yeah, that's not a number that I've ever been able to nail down what every slaughterhouse puts out.
Okay. All right. Well, we have Smithfield here.
I know.
Okay.
But there's also a lot of other suppliers. There's also other slaughterhouses as well.
Okay. You mentioned a number of states, Virginia. What is so favorable to your thought process as far as the laws that they have in place? We're talking about 100 feet from drinking water. Are they 500 feet, or what do you, just a flavor of what they're doing?
So Virginia specifically, I don't know. The states that I listed previously, of which Virginia is on the lower tier of those, they just outright banned the application of biosolids and DAF sludge on their lands.
So
It's just not allowed.
okay.
So in those states, there are no carve-outs for electric consumption. I would imagine then the economics don't really work. I think you do need government subsidy in that fashion to support that type of development, but they are most likely landfilling or incinerating their waste.
Okay, so they ban it. What do they do with it?
Landfill or incineration.
It just goes
Dewatering, you can
it
process
just-
through a wastewater treatment facility if they're hooked up to sewage.
So it just goes in the landfill in Virginia.
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And our difference is,
You can
Non-restricted.
land apply, but so in my defense, I would like to not be allowed to landfill or land apply.
okay,
I've never seen policy that prevents landfilling of waste
okay, anywhere.
anywhere now.
Okay, all right. Any questions by commissioners?
Yeah.
Commissioner McKissick? Bill?
I'm just curious, the facility that your company is operating in Georgia, how long has it been operating?
So our facility is under development,
Oh, it's under development.
correct?
Okay. When do you expect it to become operational?
If we can sign supply agreements, we could break ground by the end of this year, and it'll about be an 18-month build. So this is not an immediate generation. If I could have presented 2 years ago when I started sourcing swine waste, I would have, but that's where we are today. But we do have another asset at the landfill, which is a material recovery facility. That's where we collect all of our organic waste from, the other 40,000 tons per year that will be processed through the digester.
So from what I understand, the construction of the facility in Georgia will be contingent upon receiving and entering into contracts with the facilities either in Georgia or beyond. That would be the suppliers of the slaughterhouse waste.
Correct. We need to sign contracts for suppliers of slaughterhouse waste, or we would look at biosolids, of course, as well. In terms of final product sales, buyers of our gas, that has not been an issue. Every single electricity provider behind me has responded to interest there at rates that support our asset.
And as it presently stands, how close are you to signing or entering the contracts or agreement that would permit this project to move forward in Georgia?
I mean, in terms of from a construction and permitting, we're done. Because we've gone through the process for the organic side, but understanding that there is the ability to source additional material to generate renewable energy credits, we're waiting to see if we can make that happen.
So in terms of actually obtaining the waste stream that you're looking for, you have any
We're nowhere.
nowhere?
I haven't even gotten one. I mean, I get a response that be like, oh, I'm not the right person. I'll have so-and-so reach out to you. Nothing. It's a hole. It's a void in the world that it's amazing that Montauk got in with Smithfield. I do think you need more providers of build up. You don't want just a monopoly on the market. But no one has responded to me ever.
No one at this time.
And I'm pretty great at outreach.
And do you have site control yet?
Yes, correct. We do.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Of course.
And certainly, I would assume when you get those contracts done, the financing's available as well, right?
Correct. We're fully funded by a private equity fund out of Houston, Texas.
All right. Okay. Questions? Chairman? No questions? Yes, sir. Mr. Vanderbar.
So I was just trying to figure out, are you doing the same sort of thing Montauk does where you will dewater the rendering waste in situ and then take the solids to Georgia? Is that right?
So if we get what we want, the dewatering will occur prior to us picking up by the supplier of the waste.
So you're asking them to dewater?
I am. However,
Oh,
these facilities are usually dewatering already.
okay.
At least probably to 20%. We can take 20%. I would like them to get higher, maybe to 40%, because that increases the energy content and improves the logistics.
Right. So, and then you've got this partially dewatered or more fully dewatered that's been conveniently done for you by your rendering plants. Then you take it to Georgia, and what's your technology there? Do you just gasify it, or what do you do?
It's high solids anaerobic digestion. So we actually will liquefy it down again.
You're going to add water back to it, and you just got a giant anaerobic digester? Multi-stage to.
We only generate gas. So we will inject our renewable natural gas into the grid. We'll do
So what do you do with your waste, at your staged anaerobic digestion system that you haven't built yet? You get your gas coming off. What do you do with the wastewater from that?
Well, we're conveniently located on a landfill. And because we're reducing their material to landfill by 50%, we have free disposal of anything that comes out of our digester at their landfill.
So all the water goes into the landfill?
We'll actually be.
You got a wastewater treatment plant?
We have a wastewater treatment facility. It's not ours, it's the county's. We are hooked up to sewage. But yes, that's where the vast majority of the water will go. We will recirculate some of the water, and any of the fines and effluent can go to landfill. We of course produce a compost, so anyone is on any.
So Montauk could do the same thing you're doing. I mean, they've got the same technology, different technology, same chemistry, so to speak. So why are they going after as you say, pig poop? We say swine waste, but why are they going after that when there's this high value target out there? Are they not getting the same? They're getting the same runaround you are, you think?
Well, I have no idea. I've never spoken to Montauk before, but I would imagine that's what Smithfield offered them. And so they made a solution for what they were able to get their hands on.
Okay. Thanks very much for coming.
Of course.
Thank you. No, any questions? Yeah, go ahead, Karen.
And I was not able to read the small print on your
happily email.
presentation. Where in Georgia is your facility located?
We're in Northwest Georgia in Bartow County.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
And the presentation will be made available to us.
I can definitely do that if you, it's with the hearing room. Perhaps he could email it around, or I'm happy to email.
Yeah, he can do
anyone.
that.
Cool.
He can do that. All right, thank you. Thank you, man, for coming all this way.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Okay, sure. Will be NCEMPA and NCMPA1 by Andrew Fusco.
Commissioner, I believe the next party on the list was Monarch Bioenergy, but we're glad to go now.
On my list. But maybe I'm wrong.
We may have different lists.
You don't correct. You don't correct. Let him go ahead and then I'll let you. Okay?
You want us to step back?
I'm sorry, Jim.
No problem.
NCEMPA and NCMPA1. Who's that?
Okay. That's that. That's us. Yeah.
That is you.
That is you. Okay, I didn't. Come on, Alan, come on.
They are there.
Come on ahead. And I'm sorry, I did skip one.
There was a revised list.
Do not.
Yes.
Okay, so for the record, please state your name and the firm you're with.
Andrew Fusco, Electricities of North Carolina. Okay. Good morning. I'm Andrew Fusco, Chief Strategy Officer with Electricities of North Carolina. I'll be speaking on behalf of the two power agencies, North Carolina Eastern Municipal Power Agency and North Carolina Municipal Power Agency 1. I'll refer to them as the power agencies. I've worked for Electricities for 24 years, holding various positions in areas of power supply planning, load forecasting, risk management, NERC compliance, power plant construction, grid technology, line worker safety, and renewable energy. I've led our SEPS compliance program since the passage of Senate Bill 3 in 2007. Electricities provides management services for the administration and operation of the power agencies. The power agencies provide wholesale electric power to 51 North Carolina municipal electric systems. The power agencies serve as SEPS compliance aggregators for these 51 municipalities, each of which is an electric supplier under SEPS. In my comments today, I will address the Commission's 7 questions posed in its November 25th order. I will summarize the power agency's efforts to procure swine RECs and share insights that we have gained through the process of contracting with parties for the delivery of swine RECs. I'll start with question 1 on whether or not we are on track to comply. As stated in the power agency's joint and semi-annual progress report submitted on December 1st, the power agencies are not on track to comply with the swine waste set-aside requirement for 2025. Because the power agencies currently have no in-state swine REC agreements in place wherein the counterparty is performing as originally anticipated, the power agencies cannot estimate when they will be fully compliant with the swine waste set-aside. In an effort to procure in-state swine RECs, the power agencies have consistently participated with other North Carolina electric suppliers in joint buying efforts since the Commission issued its initial orders enacting SEPS. Since 2010, there have been 3 joint purchase efforts by which the North Carolina electric suppliers were initiated in 2010, 2016, and 2020. Through the joint purchasing efforts, the power agencies executed a total of 9 in-state swine REC purchase agreements with counterparties, 7 resulting from the 2010 effort and 2 resulting from the 2016 effort. Through the 2 RFP efforts, the power agencies contracted for REC quantities that would have allowed them to meet their in-state swine waste set-aside requirements in the fastest possible time frame. All 9 of these agreements have failed to perform. 8 of the counterparties have never delivered a single swine wreck. And all but 1 of these agreements have been terminated either by the power agencies or have been canceled by the supplier because a viable project could not have been developed. One counterparty, Align RNG Grady Road LLC, I'll call them Align, is the only in-state swine wreck producer with which the power agencies have contracted that has delivered some in-state swine wrecks, albeit in amounts significantly lower than anticipated. The power agencies and Align have amended the original agreement to allow for the delay in commercial operation date. The power agencies also agreed to lower the annual wreck delivery obligation because of feedstock issues. However, the power agencies rejected an amendment requested by Align to allow it to sell its output primarily as biogas to other entities. Such an amendment would essentially change the nature of the in-state swine wreck agreement to that of a put option whereby Align could sell its biogas to markets elsewhere, including Western states like California. This proposed change would have made the power agencies buyers of last resort. Power agencies continue to engage in confidential discussions with potential suppliers of in-state swine wrecks. The potential counterparties' earliest delivery dates and terms remain confidential and subject to non-disclosure agreements. I'll move to question 2 about Session Law 2024-57. The power agencies believe that this law will enable more potential suppliers of in-state swine wrecks to participate in the North Carolina swine wreck market because the law will facilitate these entities in meeting the revenue requirements of a successful project. I believe that the suppliers would be remiss if we do not determine what opportunities this legislation may have created for securing swine wrecks. Therefore, the power agencies plan to allow these potential suppliers to bid into the RFP drafted by the Joint Buyers Group. For question number 3, what prevents us from being able to achieve compliance? In short, the failure of suppliers to meet their contractual obligations to deliver swine wrecks. For question number 4, whether challenges are internal or external, as stated, the challenges the power agencies encountered were entirely external supplier performance challenges. For question number 5, addressing issues for compliance in the future. As stated, the power agency's joint semi-annual progress report filed on December 1st and the joint motion to modify the delay the 2025 swine waste set-aside requirements filed October 3rd, the power agencies cannot comply with the 2025 swine waste set-aside requirement regardless of whether the commission grants the motion to delay that requirement or not. As stated, in the power agency's joint semi-annual report, it is unlikely that the power agencies will be able to comply with the 2026 and 2027 swine waste set-aside requirements, given that only in-state swine wreck supplier under contract is not meeting its original obligations as described earlier. I'll skip to question 7 because it sets up my response to question 6. Question 7 deals with out-of-state swine wrecks. While performance of out-of-state swine wreck suppliers has not been perfect, the power agencies have found that out-of-state swine wreck suppliers perform significantly better than in-state suppliers with which the power agencies have contracted. The power agencies have successfully contracted for, purchased, and received out-of-state swine wrecks starting in 2012 and have received sufficient out-of-state swine wrecks to be able to meet the 25% SEPS cap on the use of out-of-state swine wrecks. 2 long-term out-of-state swine wreck agreements were executed, one in 2010, one in 2012. The second agreement is still active and has been extended to provide for out-of-state swine wreck deliveries through 2028. While the supplier has not consistently met its annual target quantities under either agreement, annual out-of-state swine wreck deliveries were substantial and significantly higher than the in-state swine wrecks that power agencies received. Moving to question 6 on how optimistic we are about the future of markets to provide swine wrecks. Based on the prior performance of contracted in-state swine wreck suppliers described earlier, and current market conditions, the power agencies are not optimistic about the availability of in-state swine RECs to meet demand. The power agencies believe that generation of RECs using swine waste-derived biogas as a fuel is a feasible technology. However, from the power agency's experience, the process of generating bundled renewable electricity by this method costs many times more than more common forms of renewable electric generation like solar, hydro, and biomass, including poultry. While every in-state counterparty the power agencies contracted with has failed to deliver significant swine REC quantities, the farms providing out-of-state swine RECs to the power agencies have proven that compliance level quantities of swine RECs can be produced. As encountered with the amendments of the Aligned In-State Swine REC Agreement with the power agencies, North Carolina producers of swine-derived biogas have indicated a preference towards production of renewable natural gas for marketing to third parties, often delivered to other states. The preference was mentioned in prior SEP's animal waste set-aside stakeholder meetings organized by public staff and during the most recent RFP process. Also, at least 7 North Carolina farms are included in a fuel producer certified low carbon fuel standard pathway for the California market. The power agencies point out that generation of in-state swine RECs has been and will continue to be difficult as long as the North Carolina producers of swine-derived biogas continue to market their product out of state instead of providing it for generation of renewable energy at new renewable facilities within North Carolina. As it appears that a number of entities are generating swine-derived biogas within North Carolina, but few swine RECs are being generated, the power agencies question whether the process of constructing and operating electric generating facilities by swine project developers may present an insurmountable challenge. If so, the power agencies suggest that the electric utilities identify the most efficient electric generators on their combined systems, most likely combined cycle plants, and work collaboratively to procure and burn swine-derived biogas at one or more of these plants. Such an approach would utilize expertise currently available within each of the respective industries while addressing the problem in the spirit of the statewide aggregate approach that SEPS prescribes. Furthermore, such an approach would allow North Carolina electric suppliers access to the most efficient generators, lowering compliance costs for North Carolina electric customers. In closing, the power agencies have made best efforts and worked in good faith to comply with the swine waste set-aside requirement since the enactment of SEPS. The power agencies have engaged with every credible supplier of swine-derived energy that has expressed a willingness to work with the power agencies on a swine energy agreement. The power agencies have expended countless staff time and resources developing RFPs, engaging with potential suppliers, amending existing agreements, preparing and filing annual and semi-annual progress reports, participating in annual and semi-annual update meetings, and preparing for and providing oral and written testimony regarding compliance with the SEPS swine waste set-aside requirements. The power agencies will continue to take these measures and hope that all participants in this process, consumers and suppliers, take the same serious approach to finding workable solutions for this aggregate statewide requirement that affordably benefits North Carolina electric customers. That concludes my comments.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for answering all those questions. I get mixed up. Does Mr. Ragsdale work with your firm?
No, sir.
He's EMC. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Couple things. Mr. Fusco, I guess you were in the room this morning when presentations were made.
Yes.
How can you say that you're not going to be able to meet 26 or 27 swine waste set-asides that's required by law? Because you've heard that Montauk, and we're probably going to hear from Monarch, has the ability to meet the requirements that you need to do that. And it's my understanding that they were the lowest bid, even though they were not the winner in your mind. I don't, can you kind of tell me why you couldn't use Monarch or Montauk to meet your swine requirements?
That is a possibility, but we don't currently have a contract in place with them.
Did you ever enter into negotiations for a contract in place with them from not the current RFP that's in the docket, but the one from 2021 where they were the lowest cost?
We were part of the joint buyers group as part of that process.
Yes, sir.
And they've been characterized in many different ways in this conversation today. I would not necessarily characterize them as the winner of that process, nor would I characterize that process as ending in any obligation upon any of the joint buyers to enter into an agreement with them. What we did was we identified their proposal from the process and we commenced negotiation on terms, which never got to conclusion.
Okay, so the 2021 RFP, they were the lowest bid, right?
I don't recall if they're the lowest bid or not, but they were the best option of the two that we received.
Okay, best option of two. Tell me what's in the 24-57 law that was produced for incentivizing swine wrecks and incentivizing and offering that additional 6-year period. I think it runs into 14 years, if you will. I'm sure you're familiar with that. What does that give you heartburn? Why did you guys decide that there was something in that law that was written? And of course, having been a former legislator, I know that we write laws that have unintended consequences. Was there a consequence in there that you saw that was beneficial to your firm, Electric Cities?
Absolutely, and I'll do my best to answer that in generic terms, but I'll.
Yeah, generic's fine, sir.
Yeah, the best way to answer that is with data, but that being said, I mean, you stated it, right? The first 8 years for every megawatt hour produced, the producer gets to create 3 RECs. Well, that particular session law came to pass at the second half of 2024, and Montauk had been showing us pricing well before that. That did not, in our view, did not contemplate that change in law. And we feel that other potential suppliers, including the other losing bid through that process, given the session law, may come up with better economics for a deal.
So let me understand that in the 24-57 session law, you saw that you mentioned Montauk did not do what? I'm sorry, say that again.
In general terms, the pricing we got from Montauk did not change much. It changed a little bit because of inflationary values, but it did not change much through the 3-year negotiations that we went through them. So my point is, I find it hard to believe that in 2021, Session Law 2024-57 was contemplated when we were provided pricing from that initial bid.
So you got the lowest price, and then they held the price for 3 years, and you're questioning why you didn't get more of a price increase? Is that what I'm hearing?
No. What I'm saying is, in 2021, there was no knowledge of a 3-for-1 split for swine wrecks.
Right.
If you create 3 swine wrecks, theoretically, you would divide the price by 3, would you not? I mean,
Right.
And what we're saying is that pricing was given in 2021, 3 years before the passage of Session Law 2024-57. So our expectation at the end of that process, when the law was passed, was the pricing would be revisited because 3 times as many wrecks would be produced at the same cost.
But it was revisited, and it's my understanding from this morning, they didn't change that. That would be a benefit to you, would it not?
Well, first off,
We're
I
talking
don't,
about the 21 rec. I don't want to get into anything confidential. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, per the docket.
Okay.
Okay. Off the hook, we prefer the docket. Okay. And so in question number 6, you said that you were not optimistic that swine wrecks could be produced and help you meet your requirements in 2026 and 2027. Is that correct?
In-state swine recs, and I'm basing, well, first,
In-state,
in-state
in-state.
swine recs,
I
yeah.
get it.
So understand, I'm from the electric industry and my knowledge starts when I have a molecule of methane. Okay,
Right.
so I am not an expert on biogas.
You got a molecule of
Yeah,
methane
yeah.
with the lowest price.
You get me to that point in time, I can help you, but before that, I can't. So the point being is, as I explained, we have 9 non-performing in-state swine rec agreements. We have one that's still under contract delivering minimal amounts. So based on that track record and the information I have at hand, no, we are not optimistic that we're going to see swine recs. I could be proven wrong, but that has yet to be seen.
Okay. Well, you heard the same thing I heard. March 2026, in that course of that year to March 27, Montauk says that they can produce 120,000 swine recs in state. If they produce half of that, you can still get there with what you need, and you're not optimistic.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Okay, well, I get it. With 9 cancellations, you believe it when you see it. But if you see it, will you believe it, and will you engage at that juncture with them or whoever else can do it?
We would definitely engage with the market well, we'll engage today with the market. And now I'm not going to wait. Let me be clear. But we will engage with counterparts. And what my message is the passage of Session Law 2024-57, we believe will help revive the market in state. And we hope that many other producers of swine biogas, swine waste energy, whatever, will participate, and we will be able to get a competitive bid through that process, and we would contract with one of those suppliers.
Okay, so have you been, they have a facility. They are producing today, and they plan to produce full tilt in March. And I can't be specific from where I sit, whether it's Monarch or Butler Farms that you guys already, or some people are engaged with, and the egg farm with the other one, and all of the things that go on. I don't know about all of that, but I'm saying, what's the issue now? You want to wait until someone starts producing before you sign a contract?
No, sir.
Or where are you on that?
No, sir. We are actively engaging with multiple potential counterparties to procure in-state swine recs.
Okay. Well, based on what I heard this morning, I'm hearing you don't believe it. You believe it when you see it, but it's there. You can kick the tires. You can see the production. You can see the process, and you can see everything. And it's hooked up to I guess a co-op. Is that what you said, Tim? It's hooked up to a co-op?
The
Four Oaks?
The electrical interconnection for the
Yeah.
sale of power from the facility is with 4 County EMC, correct?
With the EMC, so it's a co-op, right?
It is, correct.
Yeah, so it's a co-op, which that's what you guys are.
No, sir.
Well, to some extent.
No, we're municipal.
Well,
power.
I know municipal. I
It's
get it.
different.
Yeah, you are. Okay.
But to your question, sir,
I'm just trying to understand where you're coming from and why you're saying we have the opportunity of in-state. We've got a company that's put up X amount of dollars, whether it be Monarch or Montauk. They're going to tell you that they can produce. They can produce in 2026. And best you can tell, you can't forecast that you could meet your requirements, is what you're saying, until you see it. Is that the way you forecast electric load in municipalities? You wait till you see it and then you forecast it? I mean, I'm just trying to understand the thought process.
what I'm saying to you today is while we are actively negotiating with counterparties for this supply, we have not suspended in whatsoever our efforts to procure swine recs. But while we are doing that today, I cannot say with any certainty what swine recs will be produced at what point in time based on the record of the industry. Those two statements are entirely different, is what I'm saying. Is this is my ability to project how many swine recs will be available, which is entirely different than what the power agencies are actively doing today which is negotiating to find a supplier of in-state swine recs.
Okay, with Monarch, well, I don't know if I can even ask that or not. I can't, can I? I can't ask you who you're negotiating with, so I won't try to do that. Okay, let me see, what part of 2457 are you following or not following?
So,
You know,
Yeah,
here's
yeah.
what I'm saying. I got a producer, somebody that can fill our need. We've got, now we're saying multiple contracts. Now we're saying not using this or that. I'm trying to understand where you're coming from with your thought process. It sounds like we'll just do RFPs for eternity and do what we need to do. Are you planning to enter into agreements as soon as possible, or are you gonna put it off till 27 when you think something will materialize?
The power agencies are planning to enter into an agreement as soon as we can get an agreement negotiated with a counterparty.
Okay,
Okay, you asked about session law 2024-57. It's a very short bit of language. I
It is.
found it this week. The part of that we are focused on are the two terms of that, whereby the first 8 years is a 3-for-1 split. So again, going back to the economics, when you can create 3 swine recs at that rate for the cost of 1, the logical expectation in my mind is the price should go down.
okay. But you understand that perhaps not being a lawyer, but having been a legislator, the intent of the legislature is to enter into more in-state swine recs. That's the intent of the legislation.
Okay.
Okay. All right, sir, I don't have any additional questions. Anybody else?
Just real quickly.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for your presentation. I just want to just make it a little bit clear. I do not want to get into the docket in which the RFP is going to be discussed. But as part of the RFP, the price of the recs is at issue. So that is that some of your concern about entering into a contract about what the price for your customers will be?
The way I would answer that question is the price of the recs was not an issue until the passage of session law
Correct.
2024-57.
And now it is an issue.
Now it is an issue because we believe other suppliers can do better.
And that will be determined throughout the RFP process, the competitive RFP process.
This new one, yes.
Right. And then you talked about the out-of-state market, and we've specifically heard about California as being a state that in-state suppliers are selling their recs to. For my own information, what states other than California have markets that the in-state suppliers are selling to, if you know?
Little point of clarification, it would be biogas, not recs, okay? But, I know for certain, based on the data I provided, that California has their low carbon fuel standard hub, which is a liquid hub that you can trade. I know very little about other states, but I have recently become aware that Oregon is another state where you can transact swine-derived biogas.
Okay, thank you for that information.
Yes.
Thanks, sir. One more question I had forgotten. We were not allowed earlier to discuss costs, but you alluded to that earlier in your statement, if I recall correctly, of maybe 3 segments of electric generation. Can you rephrase that for me, if you would?
Sure. So I was comparing, the contract without numbers. I was comparing the contracted prices we have for swine recs, both in and out of state, with the other renewable commodity recs that we purchase through, SEPs. And just as a general statement, the swine recs have historically been vastly more expensive.
Okay. All right. Very well. Any other questions from him? Mr. Fusco, thank you so much.
Thank you,
I
sir.
appreciate you, your presentation. And we will have NCEMC James Wilkins. Yeah. Yes, sir. Take your time. State your name and firm you represent.
Yeah, good morning. Jimmy Wilkins, also known as James Wilkins, and I represent North Carolina Electric Cooperatives. All right, just wanted to thank you this morning for allowing us to speak on behalf of our members. My name is Jimmy Wilkins, Vice President of Energy Portfolio with North Carolina Electric Cooperatives. We represent the 26 distribution cooperatives based in North Carolina and provide electric service to approximately 2.8 million North Carolinians in 93 out of the 100 counties. More specifically, we also provide SEP services on behalf of a subset of that group. About 23 members, including a few municipalities, our members serve, along with 2 cooperatives that are headquartered out of state but have customers in the state. North Carolina's electric cooperatives are driven to provide affordable, reliable power to the communities we serve. And as a reminder, most of those are retail customers in the rural parts of our state, including a lot of the farms at discussion today. As noted in our filing last week, I don't have a prepared presentation, but I welcome any comments on behalf of the commissioners. I did want to clarify about the RFP and the 120,000 RECs that Montauk said they could produce. That includes the ECRs or the enhanced RECs, we believe. So said a different way, generating 40,000, they get credit for 120,000. And as your discussion with the electricity went, that is part of the heart of our issue. So thank you again.
Yeah, that's a good point. Anything else on your presentation?
No, sir.
Okay, well, full disclosure, I'm served by a co-op. I forgot it right now. Y'all got NCEMPA and NCEMC. That's hard. I understand where I'm at though, Tim. I understand where I am. On that, what about your recs and your requirements? What are your requirements that you have been given, and how do you plan to achieve that? And what do you think about the market in the future and what y'all have experienced?
Yes, sir. Happy to answer that. And obviously, we go into more details in our semi-annual reports. Don't want to drag us through that today. But our requirement is 0.2% of retail sales, and in our case, that's about 30,000 RECs per year, roughly, once you get the full ramp. We've had a very similar experience with the members of the joint buyers group. We've seen pretty poor performance out of these contracts. We're not as fortunate as the big IOUs that have these very efficient combined cycles where we can direct inject the biogas. That seems to be a more repeatable path, at least to this point in time. In terms of the future, we really, with the passage of the new law, are really optimistic with the new RFP, hoping the commission does approve it to really see what's out there beyond just the Montauk solution. Not to call it Montauk. We've seen a lot of projects that are shiny. The steel looks great. Once you get a little swine waste through them after a couple of years, the shine goes away and they continue to not perform. I hope this one's different. I hope we can find a solution to help the state and comply with the law, but that's kind of our pathway.
So co-ops do not have, did not achieve any in-state swine RECs.
I'm sorry, we did achieve some, but a very de minimis quantity. I can refer to the exact numbers, but I think we're pretty far away from compliance.
So 10% maybe.
Sorry.
Those numbers are addressed in our semi-annual progress report in terms of our in-state and out-of-state inventories. And we're also included in our additional reply comments that were filed on November 21st in terms of our compliance position for 2025.
Okay. Not going to make it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Same reasons as everybody, bankruptcy, virus, not coming online, not coming to fruition.
Yeah.
Not bidding on the RFP, all of these.
Yes, sir.
Same scenario for everybody.
Yes, sir. And shipping gas to the California market as well. Yes, sir.
So, but should RECs become available, as I asked Mr. Fusco, you're ready to sign, get with it.
Yes, sir.
Do
Yes, sir. Getting to the correct commercial terms to protect the risk to our membership, and assuming it's, we can get the affordable price, all the contract terms work. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I don't have any further questions. Mr. Wilkins, you can step down.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Commissioners.
Next presenter will be Monarch. Good afternoon, gentlemen. If you would state your name and the firm you represent for the record.
Great, thank you. My name is Joseph Burschbach. I'm a project director of projects with Monarch Bioenergy. It's a privilege to be here. And I have worked directly on North Carolina large-scale RNG projects over the last 4 years for Monarch. We've been successful developing and building and bringing those into operation. Before that, I've spent 20-plus years developing traditional and renewable energy projects.
Sir, if you would, please spell your last name.
Birschbach.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Jamie Walker. I hold the position of Origination Manager with Monarch. In addition to participating in the Monarch's successful construction of the 2 construction sites we've done here in North Carolina, I also have 30-plus years experience living and working within the poultry and swine sectors within Duplin County. And this is my first foray at something such as this, so please be kind. But so anyway, if you don't mind, we do have a slide here. If you go to slide number 2 of the first one.
Which county did you say you were from?
Duplin County.
Duplin. Okay,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
Born and raised on a tobacco farm and hog
Me too.
farming, chicken farming.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah, Duplin County, you too?
No, Pitt County.
Okay, understand. So, Monarch and its predecessor companies have been developing and building, operating turnkey style swine manure derived RNG products for over 14 years, in part through partnership with Smithville Foods and their hog production base, as well as other third parties. Monarch to date has greater than 1 million MMBTUs per year annual production at 14 farm locations. Monarch has a particular focus on generating methane from anaerobic digestion processes, capturing and processing to pipeline quality for local use. Next slide, please.
Previous slide.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Is that it?
go ahead.
Okay, Monarch's proprietary expertise is centered on incorporating latest technologies and innovative engineering practices that result in reliable and economical methane capture and processing for local use. Monarch has had a great deal of experience working with highly reputable and credible partners within the RNG sector.
Daniel,
Yes,
Daniel, let me interrupt you.
yes, sir.
Some of this in this presentation up in the right-hand corner is marked confidential. Is that the
Okay.
case?
Joseph?
No, that's not confidential. I should remove that.
Okay, it says confidential preliminary draft. I've been on
Yeah, I.
edge all day not to overstep my bounds.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah.
Monarch has had a great deal of experience working with highly reputable and credible partners within the RNG sector. Not just swine RNG, but also food waste, dairy, and cattle. Monarch has also worked with other large hog operation companies such as Prestige Farms, Iowa Select, Murphy Farms, and others. The next slide, please. Monarch has a unique approach to developing and executing projects through engagement of large numbers of independent company farms, private property owners, and utilities to achieve effective scale. Monarch takes a turnkey responsibility for each project, accounting for all project third-party relationships, incorporating leading industry practices and technology innovations through an anaerobic digestion process compatible with current farm operations. manufacturing and supplying micro-scale gas processing skids, technical and commercial logistics to bring usable pipeline gas to market, typically through the direct utility injection and only occasionally by truck transport. These factors contribute to successful bringing forth reliable, economically feasible projects in a timely manner. Next slide, please. Monarch's project development success has been realized both inside North Carolina and outside in a variety of swine operations at both finishing and sow facilities. Most recently, Monarch has completed 115,000 MMBTU per year operation in Nevada, Iowa, a mix of sow and finishing farms. Also, a 45,000 MMBTU per year operation in Lake, Kansas, and has, as of November the 4th, successfully injected pipeline quality gas at Register 1 project in Duplin County, North Carolina. Next slide, please. Monarch is most proud of its recent success for its Register 1 project, successfully demonstrating that a large-scale hub and spoke development model can be successful. It incorporates 16 independent farms, 100 private property owner easement permissions, around 20 miles of underground piping, and one common point of injection with Piedmont Natural Gas Utility. This allows large-scale RNG to be made available for local natural gas pipeline use. It also allows the option to continue adding RNG farms and other sources to current project infrastructure and allow us to grow to meet North Carolina's future energy needs. In closing this presentation, I'd like to offer sincere gratitude for your valuable time and to also leave with you this picture of one of 15 farms that this very minute is producing renewable natural gas for local community use. This natural gas can be used for power generation, heating homes, vehicle transportation, etc. Please know that we at Monarch are here, we're investing, we're building, and we're providing the needed energy resources to help NC grow. Thank you very much, and we'll be glad to take your questions.
All right, thank you, Dan. You were dynamic. You'd never known you grew up on the hot farm. You did well, sir. You did well.
Thank you. Thank
You
you
really
very much,
did. You
Commissioner.
really did well. Now we'll get down to the questions about real farming. It seems to be biogas and injected into the natural gas pipeline seems to be the most favorable way in discussions I'm hearing today. I may be wrong, but just what do you see in the future? And I see where it's what 44 million BTUs, or what is your annual production of BTUs to natural gas input? I thought it was in one on your presentation. I didn't ask that to stump you. I just
It was 140.
4 million MMBTUs in the development phase. I guess it's in the last slide down there, other North Carolina development.
Please.
Yeah,
And-
so our current production throughout U.S. operations is over 1 million annual million BTUs per year. We have on our radar with the potential, with all the hog farms we identified, both Smithfield farms and non-Smithfield farms, to grow that quite significantly, times a multiple of 4.
Well, I guess with the location of Smithfield, certainly it makes it an adaptable location. I appreciate you investing in North Carolina and in the tier 1 companies that so desperately need those jobs. So your finished RNG is injected directly into the gas line?
That's correct. Yes,
So it's clean?
that's correct.
But Duke or whomever, Piedmont has standards
Yes,
about the gas.
they have tariff-based standards we're required
Right.
to meet. That's right.
Okay, all right. In the upgrade process, it takes what? All the moisture and everything out of the gas?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's basically, most people, digestion is about 65% methane content. Concentrate it, remove moisture.
So we've heard a lot of discussion today about digesters.
Mhm.
And you use one, Montauk uses one, others have talked about digesters. All they're doing is pulling the moisture out of the product.
Digesters hold the manure for a period of time to maximize production potential from the manure.
Okay,
Um,
and what do you do with the moisture that you take out of it through the digester?
It returns to the open lagoons for land application purposes.
Okay, all right. All right.
So it's just a far lower manure concentrate.
So how many swine wrecks are you producing a year?
So we don't currently participate.
Right.
We participate in transportation fuels because it's most supportive both in terms of scale and value.
So you don't do anything with swine wrecks, in-state swine wrecks. You're just primarily RNG and injecting into pipeline from all the waste that you collect, right?
Correct. We'd like to participate certainly, but
Okay.
have been unable to get that rate so far.
Well, sounds like there's a market for it if everybody's failing and can't get anybody to bid on it. I mean, it's like there's only one or two suppliers that can even entertain meeting that. Okay, well, we thank you for investing. I mean, what's your total investment in North Carolina?
Dollar wise,
Yes, sir.
I want to say it's probably on the order of 75 million
Okay.
off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's fine. I just,
Between the two facilities, one in Northampton County, one in Duplin County.
yeah, just,
Large scale.
it's no longer that because of East Carolina, but where I grew up, it was very rural and not particularly, we had 40 acres of tobacco and we just scrambled by every year to make it when I was growing up. So the Eastern North Carolina is near and dear. I hate that pipeline, Atlantic pipeline didn't go through. It would have changed a lot of lives down there. But we appreciate what you do. Questions by commissioners? None there? None there? All right.
Well, again, we do thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. I'm glad to give it to you. I've just learned so much about North Carolina every day. I serve in this position and others in the public, and it's good. Okay, I don't see anybody else on the list on presentations. All right, gentlemen, you may step down.
Okay. By the way, if you're ever interested in visiting our facility, we'd be more than happy to host you.
Okay, I'm glad to go down home and see it. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for that. All right, any other questions for commission? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we stand adjourned. Happy holidays.